Jason, thanks so much for coming on Wall Street Unplugged.
Thank you for having me, Frank.
So we go back a very long time, 97, 98, or 2007, 2008. Pretty crazy times right ahead of the credit crisis. We work at the street, and you came up with this amazing idea for a new media site, right? Benzinga. I mean, did you ever dream it would become the platform it is today? And talk about those times too when we were at the street, because we had an amazing talent there. Not me, but you were there. We had Al Tucci. There's so many great people there, and it's just amazing just to see where everyone's going now and how great and how successful they are.
Yeah, I remember James Altucher brought me on to Real Money, and I helped him run some things, write content, etc. And it was exciting days for sure. And it was the days of FinTwit, you, Doug Cass, Aaron Task. It was busy days those days. I came up with an idea: small cap content. There wasn't a small cap content, wasn't covered that much, and no one was using Twitter back then. No one. And so I was doing work for different companies. I said, Twitter can be a resource, a strong resource to come up with ideas. And so that's what I started doing. I started using Twitter, and I said, there's a better way to deliver small cap information. And so that's how the genesis of Benzinga started.
Wow, that's great stuff. Even better, I love the view in the background. It looks like they're playing music. You can jump in the pool. I mean, everyone in Texas is freezing right now.
Yeah, is the music annoying? It just turned on. So
I love it. I love it. It sounds perfect. It sounds perfect. I think people are going to be jealous, though, especially those people in Texas, and it's freezing.
So we've been stuck in Michigan, freezing cold weather, and 0 degrees snowing. I'm here in Florida with my family. It is rainy. It is overcast right now, but it is 70 degrees. So I'm happy.
Nah, that's great stuff. And talk about, I mean, did you ever dream Benzinga will become the site that it is today, where it's, I believe it's one of the fastest growing financial media sites, and it is incredible, what you guys are doing over there.
Well, Frank, did you ever dream how big you've become? I mean, look at your setup. It's freaking amazing. Frank was doing podcasts before they were popular. He was doing it before. He was a game changer. You know everyone from Disciplined Investor, Andrew Horowitz, the whole thing. So did I dream Benzinga would be, 100 team members today? No, I really didn't. What I looked at, to be honest, Frank, was solving a problem. I didn't think it was fair that small cap investors didn't get access to the same small cap information that people on Wall Street did. So I, at one point, had a big following in small cap stocks in the defense sector. And I said, well, why isn't that crowdsourced? Why isn't there more news outlets? So Benzinga started as a place where we looked at Twitter and we covered small cap stocks. Literally, our competitors weren't using Twitter as a resource. You know what they said? They said, F Twitter. Twitter doesn't have much stuff on it. It's all fake people posting. That's what they said, I promise you. And it's hard to go back then, but I remember like it was yesterday. I had screenshots of conversations and why I was asking why they weren't using Twitter. There are smart minds on there. And they said, there's no smart minds. Who's going to waste their time on Twitter? That is why I started Benzinga.
So we're looking at a different market today, right, Jason, where the Reddit crowd has really changed the game in terms of giving a voice to retail and young investors. I think you and I have seen this before, maybe in the late 1990s and the pre-credit crisis, only for these kids to really get their head handed to them because they realize, Wall Street is a tough place and it's very ruthless. I feel like it's different this time where these kids want to be around for a little bit longer now. How do you feel and what can we teach these kids about this? Well, it's just not about, hey, trading and making quick money, but staying in the market long term and maybe owning these assets long term. Because, I wish someone explained this to me when I was very, very young. My dad tried to pound it in my head and everything. And took me to my 20s to realize it, mid-20s. But, it seems like even younger investors, they're all on your platform. They're just investing right now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, Frank, there's a lot of things you just said there that definitely, like your dad, trying to educate you and to learn what's really going on in the market. Frank, I blew up an account in 2000, 99, 2000. My grandma gave me some money, and I got that account to triple, and then I got to see it go down to zero, including selling Amazon stock at $10. And I keep that as a thing in my wallet, so I never forget. No matter how good the market is, which is really good right now, making a lot of money, the market's going up. Everyone's the smartest guy in the room. I have the stock certificate of me selling that Amazon share in my wallet. So I remember, listen, as good as it is now, there's going to be times when it's bad. I mean, what I was doing was buying stocks at 48. They'd go to 78. I'd buy more. This is back in 2000. And then they'd start falling, and I would hold them. And they would go down 50%. I would hold them. And so I had my hand handed to me in 2000. And the market, I don't want to say it, but it's like seems easy right now. And so when that happens, there's going to be a day, and I don't want to call it a day of reckoning, but there's going to be a day where the air is blown out a little bit. And my hope, Frank, is that it doesn't go out too fast, because I don't want to lose a generation of investors. I don't want to lose it. And like we see at Benzinga, we used to cover just long-term stuff, analyst ratings, all that. And now there's a lot more trading ideas. I publish my trade ideas. I have people that like literally text me, email me, asking for my trade ideas. It is a whole new frontier. I mean, such a new frontier. Yeah, Frank, go to this page. If you can you pull up another URL?
Yeah, sure.
Go to, you're on benzinga.com, which is good. Hit / trade ideas. Here, it's like some of my picks are on this page. So it's a new page that we haven't marketed, and I didn't tell you prior, so that's just my fault. / trade ideas, not slash ideas. So it's a dash between trade and ideas. You'll see it. It'll come up.
I like this. Getting this proprietary information from you. This is really cool. I haven't seen this yet either, so this is great, guys.
Yeah,
this is great.
So if you scroll down, you'll find Jason Raznick somewhere, or do a Command F, and you click on my name, and then it has like 70% of my ideas all there. Any trade I make, I write my idea. Why? Because people kept saying, well, where's your trade, Jason? Where do I find it? Well, I'm up there. I am. So click on my name. You know, it doesn't look like you can click on it, but you can.
Yep. Okay.
There you go. That's all my picks. Or a lot
this
of
is great.
And so,
this is so great.
Yeah. So no, it was so hard to find people's picks. I mean, there's so much noise everywhere. So I'm like, here are my picks, and I'm up over 65% this year, but I'm up over 500% over the last 3 years. And so I just thought, okay, here is stuff, and I get information sometimes that is before the market because I'm Benzinga. I don't trade those things. Because people would say, oh, well, he's Benzinga, he has access to stuff. I don't trade those things. I give it to the audience first, for sure. I never want to be like doing stuff ahead of people or have news. We are at the crux of it. We're like a Reuters for the millennial investor. Robinhood, Ameritrade, TradeStation, Extra Brokers, Lightspeed, Webull, Public, and 25 other brokerages use Benzinga as their pretty much main source of news and data. And so we are a full-service financial news and media service. We have over 100 people, and we have to provide, news and then give people actionable ideas off of it. The difference maker between us and most people is that if you believe – so let's say Apple has a new iPad. The iPad can dance or the iPad can go in the air. I have no idea. New iPad, we write the story. But what we try to do is we try to give hedge fund type ideas to the average investor. We don't say go buy this stock because, I mean, it's hard to come up with a stock every day. It's hard to come up with an idea every day. We say, if you believe this, Frank, then here are some bullish ways to play it. If you believe that, then here are some, bearish ways to play it. ETFs, options, so that's how Benzinga has differentiated itself versus just providing the straight news.
Now, that's what I like about it most is the accountability, because so many times I see people go on TV and they'll recommend something and you won't hear from them for 2 years. I love the fact that, even with our site, Curzio Research, everything's archived. You're going to learn from the mistakes you make, and I want people to see them because, obviously you and I have to be right more than we're wrong, or we need to get into another line of business. But, that's where you learn the most. And I love people like that where, here, this is exactly what I'm doing. Here it is. And it holds people accountable, right, to their picks, which is exactly what you want.
Yeah, Frank. It's a great point, because if you look at that page on me of like my picks, one of them was I bought Save, SAVE, which is Spirit Airlines. I bought it like 2 months ago. I'm up 18, 20%. But I bought options before earnings. But I didn't have a reason to. Because the earnings are not going to be amazing right now. It's the forecast that I'm hoping for. So I bought options, but I bought June options. Those options will be a winner, but in the short term, they were a loser because the earnings weren't strong. But that was obvious. My lesson there is I shouldn't have bought the Spirit options right before earnings because I didn't have the catalyst yet. The catalyst is in the future when people start traveling a lot more. So it's a good learning lesson for me. Don't try to be so early on the options. Wait a little bit, let them come to play, because I had a chance to buy them 15% down. So I got to look at my history and see what I did wrong there.
Now, I'm looking through this, and you see Kathy Wood, you see Gene Munster, who's a great analyst. You see, and also David Portnoy, who came on your show, and I think that you're pretty good friends with. Some really good company and some good stock picks. I mean, talk about that. I mean, that network is incredibly powerful, and it seems like everyone, those people I just mentioned, are on board with, hey, you know what? There's a younger generation coming in. Let's try to educate them. I mean, that's got to make you feel great, right? I mean, just the people that are coming to your site, and David Portnoy. I mean, how big is he? He's gotten, and he's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, Kevin O'Leary, Dave Portnoy, the CEOs of Webull. I mean, all these guys, they want to change investing, and they when we started Benzinga, I thought it was unfair that people on Wall Street got information before people on Main Street, and these people are thinking the same thing. So Dave Portnoy, yeah, I mean, that day when the stocks were halted, we were going back and forth. He came on the show again, but he's a guy that, I went to Michigan with him, but I didn't know him in Michigan. He's changing the way people get information. It's not the same way of a one-way message. It's not the suits, as he calls it. Well, we met because he actually called me a suit many months ago. He called me a suit, and I was like, I'm the anti-suit. And so we met that way. And he remembered, and we met like 4 months later. Yeah, because we had our earnings data on Activision. We had a small mistake, but then it was corrected. But we didn't affect the stock. And he didn't know who we were. He thought we were traders. Like, we're not. I'm definitely not first a trader. I'm first an information guy. And then I do some of the trade investing. I host like this show every day at 12:10 called the Benzinga Power Hour. And you can go to youtube.com/power hour, /Benzinga. And I host it at 12:10. And that's where I bring on guys like Portnoy and other traders. Frank, we had you on. If you go to, it's on youtube.com/Benzinga. But we had Frank on, and we bring on guys all the time who move the markets, who are smart, and who have a big following. And like today, we have a couple big followings, and it's our thing of live programming that we think should be two-dimensional, where it's us talking, people talking, it's the community. I'm reading the chat. People know how to irk me and do stuff, and it's kind of funny. And but Dave Portnoy, yeah, he was. It's a lot of guys like that have a lot of reach. And why do they have to go to just CNBC? Why doesn't Benzinga an outlet for them? And that's how we have been doing it. We do a lot of education on our YouTube channel. A lot of, because like Frank said, guys, there's a lot of new investors. And it's easy to go buy Sundial, SNDL. But do you really understand why you're buying Sundial? I would say probably not. And so there's still good fundamental investments out there. I recently bought a stock, Valentine. The symbol is BTN, B as in boy, T as in Tom, N as in Nancy. And I bought it because the valuation is very fair, and it's one I'll hold for a long time. But more importantly, in this day and age, we're so networked. Like, I didn't talk to Frank for a few years, but now I'm sure we'll talk all the time because we're so networked. A really smart person called about BTN. He put the financial model together, did the valuation. He buys it, I'm in it, and that's it. You trust your leverage, your social, connections, and that's pretty important.
I was just going to say, how important is that? Because people say, Frank, you do a free podcast for over 13 years now, but every week I interview someone that's brilliant, that's smarter than me, that I'm learning from. And as much as you cover so many different ideas and I cover different, we can't cover everything, right? And from my network, the ideas that I get from people that I trust, and not all of them are right, but they have great track records. I explain the importance of that to a network, and how could somebody young, what was the easiest way for you to build up your network? For me, I talked to everybody. I made myself available. I did things for people without asking for anything in return. I mean, how do you build up your network? I get that question the most, and you have one of the biggest out there.
So just what your last part that you said is you gave more than you received. It's another way to say it. Give, then receive. Give, and then maybe receive, but don't expect it. So what I do is I have like a tickler file that it's in my phone, and every 3 months I want to make sure I reach out to my tickler file, but that's less so a science. It's more awareness. So if I see something that I don't know, I'm a small investor in a company called StockX. If I see something that'll affect the shoe market and resell, I send it to the CEOs and founders of StockX, and they love it. And they may have seen it, but it's me thinking of them. So then when they think of Jason Raznick, which I'm saying myself in the third person, just so you understand why I'm saying it, when they think of me, they're like, oh, that guy sends us helpful stuff from time to time. There's no hey, that guy's out. When he reaches out, he's always asking for a favor. I mean, you don't want that. people like will reach out to me that I haven't talked to in 6 years and say, hey, let's catch up. What's going on? So I know at that time, yes, we're going to have a conversation, but I know there's going to be an ask. I know they're going to want something. I really try to give, and then receive. I'm friends with, and I'm dropping names now, but like I'm friends with, like, many basketball players, many like celebrity type people. If I called them every time and said, hey, can you do this or can you do that? They're not going to answer my calls. Like, they're not. So I really try to give, and then receive. And it's to the point now that, like, I know if I call and ask for something, I know for certain they're going to do it. Like,
yeah.
And that's crazy to me. Like, I know that, I think of it like a credit and debit. And I don't necessarily in that sense, but what most people do is they ask for favors right away. I mean, do you know how many people, Frank, have hit me up on Dave Portnoy? I'm going to say over under 20 people asking me to connect them to Dave. I'm not kidding. And David, by the way, is not going to go do stuff for me. It's not like that. And so, and I'm not asking for Dave for any favors because Dave is the Howard Stern of this day and age. Mm-hmm. And, you don't just go, well, why would he want to just do favors for me? So and then people are asking me for favors from him. And it's just like, and that's the opposite of give, receive, give, and maybe receive. And you don't necessarily have to receive. But one thing I would say is it's really easy to be angry and mean and upset, or it's really easy to be nice, funny, and chill. It's just a decision in your head. It's a decision thing. It's just a decision in your head. So my thing is, I want to give and be as nice to people as I possibly can. I'm sure there's a couple people that maybe I've rubbed the wrong way, and I would love to make up for that. But the biggest thing I think we all need to do better in this world is seek to understand because you never know where someone's coming from that day, and chill out. And I think good things come from that.
Yeah, I mean, chill out's a very good thing, right? Especially with everything political, everybody got crazy. Let me switch this around now. I'm talking about your network, but I see that through your site, and even I'll bring it up here when you're looking at a lot of these videos. There's one thing that's in common, which I see with all of them, is young kids. And I don't mean to say kids like disrespect. I'm saying it seems like in their 20s, early 30s. How important is that to you to surround yourself with that kind of, does that keep you young? Because when I see these guys talking, they don't even feel like they have a job. They love this. They're passionate about it. For me, I have young people around me, a young analyst as well. It does keep me young. And just to see these guys, how important is that? Because I know that your site, especially on the video end, is filled with a lot of young, very, very smart and talented people.
So, Frank, what I'm finding, I don't know if you find this at Curzio Research or not, but what I'm finding is younger people like to experiment more and try things. So with our video, Frank, I have to be honest, there was no real strategy and tactics. What happened was the GameStop thing, and I may be jumping, but I'm sorry. Is it okay? Hopefully it's okay.
No, go to GameStop. Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
so GameStop, people don't really know this, but we were the room where it happened. The Wall Street bettors were out there, but we had Andrew Leff from Citron Research on 3 Thursdays ago. He couldn't get on his Twitter feed. He came live on our show. We had 800 listeners at the time. He shows up within 10 minutes. 15,000 Wall Street bettors were there and took over the show. And just like it was insane. It went stock went from $40 to $75 over 2 days. But we were the room where it all started, like 100%. It's not even a debatable fact. Okay, it was crazy. But then the next day we went for 11 hours straight. And so we're like, wait, maybe we should do more of this. And we need more show hosts. Like I will hire anyone. Not anyone, but we need more show hosts. What I find is the younger crowd is more willing to do some experiments. I'm all about doing experiments and seeing what happens. I think the older crowd also has a lot of intelligence and things to impart. The younger crowd is easier to get to do experiments. This entrepreneur, Dan Gilbert, he's the owner of the Cavaliers and Quicken Loans, Rocket Mortgage.
He was a trainer, wasn't he? Did he start out as trainer or something before owning that team, I think? Yeah, but go ahead.
Trainer? No, it might be another one. No, Dan was Cavaliers. I mean, Quicken Loans. He was slinging mortgages out of his trunk, and now he's like, I think he's the 15th richest in America, or like 15th richest in the world, something like that. I don't know, whatever. But so he always said, "Money follows, it doesn't lead. Money follows, it doesn't lead." He's like, you build stuff, and then the money will follow. So like on the video stuff. I've reached out to some people. I'm like, hey, guys, I don't know if this will work. I have no idea. There's a good chance it won't work. probably the odds say in history it won't work. But if you want to give it a try, let's go give it a try. The younger folks that I talk to are more willing to give stuff tries. Yes. Older folks sometimes I need to get 5,000 a week. I have this. I'm like, well, we don't have that. We don't know if it's the real thing. Yeah. So that is one of the differences. And by the way, I think it will be a real thing. I think it will be. So, but I don't have the money to go put 20,000 a month into one post right now.
Yeah, no, and I mean, even with the young people that we hire, one of the things I realize is that's where the innovation comes from, because they think about things differently when we're conditioned, right? There's so much influencing us that, they're going to do things and I'm like, what are you, crazy? And that's how you really disrupt things, right? You don't disrupt by doing what everybody else says. And that's kind of what you get used to as you get older. But the younger generation and just the social media and how we're expanding our presence there, things that I wouldn't even think of doing. It's pretty cool how smart. They're much smarter than me than I was their age. I can tell you that. It's incredible.
I hear you, but it's Frank. You have a lot more years, and so do I. And we've seen markets go up and down. Yes. And what I'm afraid is that most people have not. They've just been in a bull market, and that's what I'm afraid of. Like, they're not used to this. What is that thing? What's it like? That's what I'm afraid of.
No, definitely afraid of it too. Definitely afraid, because it's not going to always be like this, and stocks going up like till rate from 7 to 60 in 5 weeks or 6 weeks. It's usually not like that. Yeah.
It reminds me of CMGI and those stocks back in the day that went from the CMGI, and then there was another one. I can't think of the name of it right now, but that's what it reminds me of. And so there's going to be blowback, and it is what it is. And in the time, you don't know. Remember in March when the market basically took a beating and it made sense to buy stocks? That's the same thing right now. Like, you got to be able to get in when people are fearful and sell when people are greedy. Like, that's the game,
No, absolutely. And I love that you're moving around. Is it starting to rain over there? You getting a little wet?
It's starting to rain. Can you see?
Oh, I can see it. It's perfect. That's awesome. I think people are going to be happy that it's raining, so you can't jump in the pool when it's like, -5 in Dallas.
I have to move. I have to move. It is downpouring. It's downpouring. It just started raining like you have no idea. So we're back.
People love just, two guys sitting down talking and just, nothing's formatted or anything like that. I'll send you a couple topics you want to touch on. I think that goes very, very well, even with your power hour and things like that. But let's get to some of the things that you were talking about now, like the sectors and everything, because we're seeing Bitcoin, 50,000. You're looking at just marijuana stocks really, really catching a bid. What are some of the things that maybe the investors on your website or your audience is, what are they interested in the most? Is it just those sectors? And maybe what's the next sector? Or even a better question is, are they worried at all that these things may be overheating like marijuana stocks or just even, targeting these stocks that have huge short ratios like we saw with the Reddit crowd?
Some people are cognizant of the market and going up, but most people are looking for the next trade and not looking at risk aversion. So I always own some long-term puts on the SPY. Those right now be down a ton, but I always like to have some hedges in. I like to have some hedges in just in place, long-term puts or whatever, or something. You can do a lot of different hedges, but that's one I like to have. But I would say silver is one of the sectors heating up. Another one, which I've been invested for 2.5 years, is lithium. Graphene, these are things that go into an electric vehicle. Graphene, lithium. I've owned LTHM for 2.5 years. It didn't move for a year and a half and then took off. But and so I'm seeing a lot of people looking for like the new metals in battery and the innovation on our site, like what's going to be next. There's a company FUV. It's a 3-wheeler vehicle. It's a fun utility vehicle. Partner with Senior Monroe. So a lot of electric vehicle stuff. That's what I would say is probably the most red stuff. Now, cannabis is definitely big. There's definitely several companies like Kurna, which does a lot of the back end stuff. I don't own that one. The two that I own, maybe I do own a little Kurna, but I own Terracent and Curaleaf. I probably do own a little Kurna now that I'm thinking about it. But so it's a lot of like, what's going to be the next? What's next? Who got next? That's what they're trying to think of. Now Tesla is definitely one of the most widely owned stocks on our platform. By far, in terms of valuation wise, it's the largest. But they're trying to find the next Tesla, and it's our job to try to find the next Tesla. So one of the reasons Benzinga exists was, I mean, there's so many scams out there. I don't know if you remember, but like maybe 6 years ago, every single company was attaching crypto to their name, like these small caps, and they put crypto, their valuation went up like 30%. So we try to find out what's real, what's not real. It's another thing.
Sounds familiar, right? With .com ever? How many companies change their put .com money into the name, right? And create a website right before the blow up. But let me ask you a question. How many? So you have access to so many ideas, so many stocks. How many do you have in your portfolio one time? I mean, is it, I'm sure you have a trading portfolio. I have a lot as well. Is it, and again, you don't have to answer exactly how much or if that's too personal, but yeah.
No. I would show my holdings. I one thing is, if I just tell the truth and put it out there, it's a lot easier than having to double think stuff. And I know that's the same thing for everyone. So I probably go a little too personal, but so far it's been okay. But I probably own in my active trading account, I used to own like 15 stocks in it, guys. And this just shows you how extended the market is. I own like 40 stocks in it. So if you ask me every single stock what they do, I don't know. And that's very odd for me, Frank. I usually know. I don't usually treat them as just letters. But then I mean, like you see sundial from 60 cents to $3, and people are telling me nonstop. So I bought it at $1 and I sold it at 180. Like I just like, all right, I'll buy these. I give. You guys are right. I'm wrong. So I own like 35, 40 stocks. I mean, if the market takes a beating today, yes, I'll be down a lot. But I own some really strong stocks that I like, and so that's just what I do. And so I own about 35, 40 stocks in my active trading.
Yeah, and I saw even David Portnoy on Investor Hour, one of those. I think it was one of the ones that I was on with you, where you said, hey, he texted me, this is a name that he likes. Look, and I forgot, it might have been like, it was an ammo or something. I forgot what it was. They sell ammo on it.
POWW. That was an ammo play. I mean, the market's crazy. Like right now, we're open right now. I own a stock KMPH. I bought it at $6.90. At $10.92 today. I trimmed some, and this lady who gave it to me, Viv, she's like, don't sell any, Jason. So I sold a very small amount, and it's up a ton. Voyager Digital, it's a crypto play. Crypto, it's up $1. It's up $1. And that's the CEO of it is Steve Ehrlich. So now we go back to Benzinga days. Lightspeed was one of our first clients. He was the CEO of it. I met him. I maintained. I'm like, we're good friends. Upwork, it's a big stock I own. I own a stock right now that I don't know why I own it, but everyone kept telling me to buy it, so I bought it. AMYZF, it's recycled for battery materials. AMYZF, it's up 30% today. So, and I gave BTN at 250 last week. It's at 305 today. So that's just,
the power of your network. The power of your network. Yeah, it really is incredible.
I bought EXPI, EXP Realty, up 34% into this. GAN, GAN. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen markets like this. And then I do margin from time to time, and then I lower the margin. I lower it quickly. I lower it faster than I raise it. That's for sure. When I feel stuff's extended, I'll go back into it. But this KMPH I bought 3 weeks ago, it's up 60%. Is that ever extended? I don't know. All I know is I did sell some shares. I guess she was right. I should have never sold any, but I'm just thinking she's wrong. She's wrong. She just, and she's been right. This girl, Viv, and she's been right on all this stuff. So we had GMBL, Frank, on our small cap show. We had GMBL. It's an online gaming platform, entertainment, something. GMBL, the stock was at $4 and was on our small cap conference. Today it's at $16.04, up another 7%.
Wow. And Voyager is one that we had in our portfolio under $1. And I mean, just the crypto stocks in general, if it's Mara or Silvergate's another one that people aren't familiar with. And that one is through the roof now, $140, $50, wherever it is. Probably higher today with Bitcoin touching 50,000. But
what about BNGO? BNGO is a Kathy Wood play, but this guy, Tom Nash, gave it to me at $570. It's at 14 today. So, but yeah, let's say Bitcoin hit 50,000 today. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing a lot of these, pure play Bitcoin, the Voyagers, the Silver Lakes, the stocks that are related to those, right? The Hive Technologies. I mean, people don't realize that those are the pure plays instead of buying the other ones that aren't pure plays. Those things have really, really taken off. Especially if you think it could be 100,000, which a lot of people do, and more institutions are coming in, MasterCard and B of A, Bank Mellon.
Yep.
Anyway, but I wanted to end with this, right? Because I know how you're a busy man. You're doing this. Thank you so much for doing this. I know you're away.
Thanks for having me. Much appreciated.
Why don't you take us through your site? Because I know people are going to definitely click on it. You're one of the people that I love even promoting, because I know you do the right thing for the small investor, and that's what we're about as well. It's bringing Wall Street to Main Street, leveling that playing field, and giving them the same thing that we have access to, right, all of our lives. And it's really, really worked out for us. It's worked out for you. But take us through some of the things here, because you also have like a Benzinga Pro here, right?
Yep. Yeah. So if you go to premium on that orange link there.
Okay.
So for on the orange link, it's on the right side, top right. Yep. So there's like the different newsletters we have, but Benzinga Pro is probably our flagship property. There's tons of investors, maybe 10,000 that pay, maybe $100 a month or something like that. And it's real-time news data. There's a 30-person newsroom. There's scanners. There's signals. It's the top link on the top, and it has everything in there. Frank will get you an account, but it's like it has 52-week high breakouts, option alerts, unusual volume, signals, scanner, chat rooms, the news desk. Then it has press releases where you can divide by sector. Has your watch list. It has everything that you would think in a Bloomberg. It's just a naked version of a Bloomberg. It's not as intense. It's a little easier. It's like Bloomberg meets Apple. That's the idea for Benzinga Pro. And there's a lot of these different things we have. And so we're always hiring right now. If we find driven people that want to impact the outcome and democratize finance and change how we invest for the future, then we're a place for you. And you can apply at cooljobs@benzinga.com, cooljobs@benzinga.com. And I'm on Twitter at Jason Raznick. But then if you're on Benzinga, we have small cap sections. We have ideas. Chris Kaji is one of the most read writers, KTJE. He's really good at SPACs. SPACs is this guy. He's just the best. He has a show called The SPAC Attack. He is the guy when it comes to SPACs. Chris Kaji. He is the guy. And
that's great.
He is. I'm just telling you, he's been amazing. Like I don't know anyone better. And so Benzinga has trade ideas, has news, has everything. You can look up a symbol and see, and we cover everything. We have 100 people, and we're trying to change the way information is delivered. And it's hard. It's not easy. What we're doing is not easy. I mean, we get, ripped on because we didn't cover this stock, or we're trying to pump this. No, we're just trying to get the news out there. I don't care if I own a stock that we cover. Like, I don't want to be responsible for moving anything I just want to inform and let people decide, that's it. And if we can do a good job with that, then I think we'd solve problems for people. So, and that's all we try to do.
And last question here too. You guys do a great job where you have like a pre-market prep video. You have the Power Hour, which I've been on, and you host with other people who have come on and given ideas, but also the free webinars. I think you do those once a month where you have like people. I don't know where you get the people from, if they're from Benzinga or if you have guests come in and a lot of that's for free. But I'm sure that's doing great for you too, those webinars, because it seems like your staff has given me passwords to log in, and when I've logged in, they were very, very good. Actually, they were really cool. It was very educational.
We think if we can educate the future of investors, America, it's a good thing for everyone. And so, yes, we do those free webinars, and there's 10 to 20,000 people that attend each one. The Power Hour you were at, the pre-market prep is every day for the last 5 years at 8 to 9 a.m. when the market's open. Every day. It's I think the best way to get your day started. The webinars, you can go to, on Benzinga.com, there's a place to sign up for newsletters in the top right corner, and you'll get in the funnel for those webinars. But we are not just trying to sell you. Yes, we want to get some subscriptions, but if we can educate the future investors, we think it's a good thing for everyone.
No, this is really great stuff. So I guess we'll leave it there. I'm going to say,
the page. Yeah, go back to Benzinga.com. Now type in pre-market. This is a new page we just launched. Benzinga.com/pre-market. Watch this. I know Benzinga has to be easier to navigate. We will get there. We have a new site rolling out. Okay, there it is. So if you're ever in the morning, you want to see everything that's moving. We have a nice little graph. You can expand it. Then if you go down, it's all pre-market news and related headlines. Then there's the biggest losers. Here's all the analyst ratings today. This is the way I start my day every day.
No, this is great. This is really great at the beginning of the day. Absolutely. So we're going to end on this now. How long are you in Florida for? Hopefully for a couple of weeks, and hopefully you jump in the pool pretty soon with your family. How long are you there for, buddy?
I'm a flag football coach. I got to be back on Saturday because of game Sunday. And so if there's no flag football, I would be here 2 weeks. But flag football, I'm a first time coaching. I love it, passionate about it. And so I'm here till Saturday.
Nah, it's great stuff. Well, Jason, listen, thank you so much for doing this. I had no idea you're on vacation till you came on. I would have told you not on vacation, but even out in Florida. I really appreciate that, man. Really.
Dude, Frank, you're the man. You're a Curzio. You've been always a man of integrity, man who gets it, just passionate about what you do. They don't make them much better than you, Frank. And so anytime, any place, anywhere. So thank you for having me on. If you want to follow me on Twitter, guys, I'm at Jason Raznick, Raznick. And Frank Curzio, if you don't follow him, better be following Frank because Frank's the man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And hopefully join us again soon. Take care, buddy.
Thank you. Yep. You too.